So the irrational number e is actually the most common base that we have for exponential functions. So we need to know how to work with this base e. So this lesson is mostly just on how you rearrange things that have a base of e. And partly we just need to figure out how to use our calculator. So e is this number 2.72 rounded off, right? But actually the digits keep going forever because it's an irrational number. And so you'll want to use the e button on your calculator, just like you've been using the pi button on your calculator instead of typing the number 3.14 whenever you need to use pi. Same sort of idea. So here, if I have the function e to the x, and I wanted to know f at 3, then f at 3 is just e to the power of, well, x equals 3. So I need to do e to the power of 3. The e button on your calculator might be connected to what's called a ln function. It looks like the word in, but it's not in. That's actually an L, not an I. So you might see it near the ln button, or it might have its own sort of special place. I use the Casio. For me, it's underneath the ln button, so I do shift. So I press shift, and then ln, which looks like the word in, but it's actually ln. That actually gives me e to the x. You'll notice it says e to the x sort of above it there, if you're using a Casio as well. And then you actually just get to hit the 3 after that. A really common mistake that people think they need to do is they think they need to hit some sort of an e button and then do their exponent button, like whatever, sort of put something to the power of this, and then they do 3. And that is almost always not correct in how you put it into your calculator. The reason for that is that e is so often used in the base of exponential functions that your calculator has that programmed already. So as soon as I hit shift ln, which gives me this e, it actually does to the power of already. So when I hit this shift ln thing, that gives me e to the power of, so all I have to do is hit the 3. I don't have to also hit to the power of again. It would sort of be redundant and it would confuse my calculator. All right, let's try a trickier one. What if I know the y value and I'm trying to rearrange for x? So here I know the y value is 195. That equals e to the x. So in the past, all we've been able to do to solve for an exponent is guess and check. So we try e to the power of 2, e to the power of 3, e to the power of 4, which one kind of gets closer to 195. But this is going to be a decimal answer, and you'll have to go on forever until you find something that kind of works, and it'll never be exact. So that's not an ideal approach here. There is actually a way to solve for exponents. We can use what's called the ln function. And the ln function undoes an exponent. How it works is this. If you know that y is equal to e to the x, then ln of y gives you x. Think about the ln as just essentially killing the e and giving you the exponent, just dropping that right in there for you, which is what you want to find. So in this case, the y value is 195, so the ln of 195 will actually be x. And you should have a ln button on your calculator. You literally just type in ln, just hit that button, and then 195. And that will give you x. So try doing that, make sure your button works for you. Ln of 195 is, for me, I got 5.273, so x is 5.273. If you got that, you are using your calculator right. So the rule you want to remember here is if y equals e to the x, ln of y is equal to x. You'll spend a lot more time in advanced functions understanding this whole process and working with logarithms, which is sort of the more general case here, where you could have bases other than e and it would still work out. And but this is sort of the general rule that you'll need to know for our course. Let's try a trickier one. What if there's like a few more numbers in there? So we know f of x is 35, so y is 35. I'm trying to solve for x. So I'll plug that in. 35 is 5 e to the 3x minus 8. Our rule here is that if y equals e to the x, then ln y will give me x. That's kind of the rule I'm going for. But notice, this only works when the e is totally cleaned up. I can't have a 5 or something out in front of the e. So when you've got the situation where there's something being multiplied by the e, you've got to divide both sides by it first. So get rid of the 5 first. Divide both sides by 5. So we'll do our 35 divided by 5. That's going to give me 7. So 7 is e to the 3x minus 8. Now my e is totally cleaned up. There's nothing in front of it, nothing being added to it, anything like that. It's just e to the power of stuff. And I need to get that stuff out. My rule then is that if y equals e to the power of stuff, that stuff will equal ln of the y value here. So ln of the 7 will give me the entire exponent. It will give me 3x minus 8. So when you do ln of 7 on your calculator, you should get 1.946 about. That equals 3x minus 8. And now you're just solving regular algebra. You could add 8 to both sides. That will get rid of the 8 here. And then you could divide both sides by 3. That's adding there, by the way. Adding. Divide both sides by 3. And we'll get x on its own. And x should be 3.315. All right.